to create what we want, you know, a large part of what I didn't talk about with the conscious dating method is intentionality. You know, and if you're in Amy's course, you're already being intentional about what you want. You're showing up for it. And that's a lot more than what most people are doing. Most people are just waiting for things to happen for them in their lives, even a relationship. And just like anything else we desire in our lives, partnership more than anything requires strategy. It requires relationship skills. It requires, how do I want to connect with this person? How do I want to show up in the world as the best version of myself so that I have the space, the capacity to receive them, right? So be intentional, date for practice and preparation, because you're going to need those skills when you're in a relationship, and you won't even know that you have those skills unless you're out there dating them, using your authenticity, your voice, setting boundaries, writing down your core values and standards. And when you're dating, you'll see, oh yeah, I really need this in a partner. Oh, this is really important. This is not something I'm willing to sacrifice. Okay, this I can give up, you know. But you want to see that in action and in practicality, and you see that in application by dating. And just start swiping. You know, no one loves online dating. Who does? No one does. But it's effective. And I bet everyone listening, watching knows at least 1, 2, maybe even more people who've connected through online dating apps. There's no other opportunity, especially in this global pandemic, to substantially increase our dating pool and connect with people anywhere in the world than the virtual dating apps. It's powerful. And it also allows for us to connect and date from a much more mental and emotional space, and delays the physical gratification. I saw an article last week that talked about how people are creating connections in the virtual world, but when they meet in person, the same chemistry is not there. And here's my take, and this is what I want to caution everyone in. Chemistry is important. Right? We all have pheromones, we smell, we're animals, we sense someone else's scent and they sense ours. And, you know, if we're looking at nature, I believe that instinct was created so that we know who we can procreate with and who we can procreate healthy, viable life and children with. But if that were the only determining factor in creating a loving relationship, was that chemistry, that pheromone, I think we'd have far greater relationship success out there. And we wouldn't see all these Hollywood marriages ending like they do. But a lot of the relationships that we see that aren't lasting through the end of a year is because they're based on this very short, ephemeral experience of chemistry, the physical attraction. They say people feel the experience of being in love for about 2 to 3 years, 2.5 on average. So we're all going to feel that euphoria when we're first in love, but that feeling of chemistry and euphoria can also be created through intellectual conversation, emotional intimacy, which can build through friendship, spending time together, having a joint effort, teamwork project or something you're working on. So if you meet someone in person after you've FaceTimed and you've been on virtual dates and it doesn't quite feel the same, give it a little time. If you are enjoying someone, laughing with someone, and time just seems to pass with someone, give it a shot, right? Because no matter what, if you talk to couples who were so ignited in the beginning and either divorced later, or they're like, I'm not attracted to my wife, I'm not attracted to my husband, I'm not attracted to my partner, whatever, they had that same combustible chemistry maybe in the beginning. But what may have happened is they didn't have the other parts. Right? So if we could focus on building the other parts of relationships, right? Again, from that inside out. And again, I'm not downplaying physical chemistry. Sex chemistry is very important, but it doesn't have to be the leading determinant factor in how we create relationships. Search for values, date from a heart-centered place. Align with someone who desires what you want in life, has the same goals. Value what you value, what's important to you. And from there, spending time with that person. See if you laugh together, you have a good time, and you forget about time. I guarantee you, if you have someone like that in your life that you might not be physically attracted to, but if you're attracted to them intellectually and other ways that you connect, that physical chemistry can definitely grow and can last because you've built a foundation on friendship and things that are so much more sustainable than just the physical chemistry. So I guess I'm going to wrap up. If you have any questions, let's see. What would you say to a woman who is engaged, soon to be married? What advice? Ugh. Okay, I haven't been married, but I do know a lot of married people, and I do know people that have been through divorce. My first advice would be, well, you're already engaged, but it's not too late, is to get premarital counseling. You have to make sure you're on the same page. You don't want to know that you've forgotten these important conversations before you get to I do. Make sure your values are aligning, your goals for your marriage and your relationship are on the same page. And a third party, a therapist, a spiritual counselor, a guide can help you have those conversations. And maybe you've already had all of them, and that's great, but I still would suggest premarital counseling. I would also suggest that your partner, which I said earlier, is not your source of happiness, and to remember that every day. And if we could give that person permission to show up authentically as they are, rather than wanting to change them, the relationship can thrive even greater, right? If we focus on changing and growing ourselves, relationships are like a song and a dance, like a tango. And as we move, they move. So if there's parts of your partner that you struggle with, focus on seeing if you can change that within yourself, right? If we change, things around us change, family systems change. And the other part is we get a lot more with sugar than we do with salt. And one of the things that I'm learning and have learned in my relationship experience is that when we highlight the things that we like or that have brought us pleasure and satisfaction, your partner will want to do more of that because they want to see you happy. They want to be part of providing, right? Especially for women dating men, men are all about pleasing women. That brings them joy when we're fulfilled, when we're, smiling and appreciative and grateful. So when your partner engages in things that you like, rather than saying, you didn't do this again, it's, I really loved and appreciate that you took out the trash. Oh, I really loved when you texted me the other day unexpectedly. And then they know that those things are important to you in a way that's not nagging and complaining. And then they'll remember that. And they'll say, okay, that made her day. She was in a different mood, etc. And the other thing too, if you're getting married, I know some couples, women particularly, that often lose themselves when they're in relationships. And it's important to be your authentic self. Your self-love practice becomes more important when you're in partnership so that you don't get usurped into that relationship and forget who you are. You are still an individual that needs to be loved, nurtured, nourished, heard, seen, and validated by you more than anyone. So don't lose your skills, your tools, practice finding fulfillment every day of your life outside of your partner. Do things that bring you joy outside of your partner. Your partner, again, can't be your source of happiness for everything. And one of the things that you learn as you mature and get older is that whatever you don't get in your partnership, sometimes you're not supposed to get it there. Maybe you'll find it with your girlfriends. Maybe you'll find it at the office with colleagues. Maybe you'll find it in your work or your business. So, expecting our partners to be everything. Only God can be everything. And when we just think about that, really think about it. And again, it's not about lowering your standards, but just understanding that no one's perfect and none of us have it all together. We're all just trying and doing the best that we can. So I strongly recommend anyone getting engaged, getting married, seek counseling, seek spiritual support, therapeutic support to guide you through this big decision, one of the biggest decisions we'll ever make in our lives.